Hello everybody, Calamity here, or at least that's what I wrote on my Penacony contract. Today's video is going to be all about the brand new pure fiction that just came out a few days ago. It's called Tales of a Tethered Bird. Now let's quickly go over what the blessing is this time around, and we'll go ahead and discuss team setups as well as the blessings. First of all, dot damage, or damage over time, is going to be increased by 50% on enemy targets. Enemy targets that receive dot damage have their damage dealt reduced by 35%. After they are attacked, their action is advanced forward by 35%. Now, there are two things you should know about this blessing. The first thing being, you might look at this and say, hey, I don't have any dot characters built. I've never pulled for any dot characters. I don't want to pull for Black Swan, etc, etc. And I'm here to tell you that you do not need any dot characters to fully clear this pure fiction. Now you might be looking at my first half team and going, whoa there, Calamity. What the heck is that? You have Kafka and Sampo on your first team, or first half team. Just give me a second to explain. The second part about this blessing that you also might be wondering about is, why the heck are your enemies getting an advanced forward by 35%? That sounds like a buff. And in most cases it would be, but because we're doing dot damage, that's actually a good thing for us. The sooner that enemies take their turn after receiving dot damage, then the sooner that they actually take the inflicted dot damage that we're dealing from the wind shears, from the shocks, from the burns, etc, etc. So this is all really good for our damage overall. So now let's talk about the blessings, or the buffs that you can apply to your blessing. The first one is called Libel, and this is going to make it so that when enemies take dot damage, adjacent targets also take dot damage as well, of the same type, and for 60% of the original damage that you deal. This is good for people that already have dot characters built. I mean, it helps with extra, wave clearing to get those points. Now, the good one for most players out there that are worried about not having a dot character or any dot damage at all, Rumor is going to be your golden ticket. This makes it so that any ally that attacks enemies, any ally, is going to inflict wind shear, which is the wind dot, is going to make them take a certain amount, or a set amount, of wind dot damage at the start of every turn. So there you go. If you don't have a dot character, this makes anybody that can attack, which is pretty much anyone, a dot character, without having to build characters specifically for this pure fiction. The last one is called Defamation, and this is more tailored for those that want to tackle this pure fiction without using a healer. This makes it so that when an enemy takes dot damage, the ally with the lowest HP percentage will get healed for 10% of their max HP and also receive an action advanced forward by 8%. So for those of you that don't want to use a healer, maybe don't have a good one or have one properly built yet for this pure fiction, there you go. I don't really recommend it though. I still ended up using my own healers for both teams, for the extra skill points as well, and it ends up being really well, or ends up doing really well. Now let's talk team comps for pure fiction. At least for stage 4, we do have Yanqing on the first half. He is going to be in the last wave, and he does his his sword attacks where he has a chance to freeze your enemies, but it's not like the the simulated universe or previous boss fights you've had with this character. It is just him. It's not the one where he summons also these additional blades that you have to attack as well. It's just him with some extra add monsters on the side. And again, let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room that you might have noticed when I said you don't need dot characters, yet here I am using Sampo and Kafka. Now, the reason I'm using them is because they are my best wind and lightning DPS characters. If I don't have Blade, I don't have Jing Yuan, and if I did, well, I would actually use those because you can. They're actually better for these modes because of their their bigger AoE damage and things like that. You can also bring Arlen if you want and have him apply the wind shear if you so choose. Now, of course, Black Swan is also going to be really good here, but I'm not using mine. As you can see, I do have her in the top left, mostly because she's not built. I'm still working on her traces and her relics, but if she was good to go, of course I'd be using her here as well. She's really good for this event mode. Now for the second half team, we do have ice weakness and fire weakness, but it also doesn't tell you that Argenti for some reason is weak against his own actual element, which is physical. So yeah, you can even bring characters like Clara for wave 3 to help, you know, break his toughness shield even faster and to do damage to the little totems he summons as well. So you have a lot of options to go for here. Again, I'm using Herta as a nice free-to-play friendly option. You can do the same. You can also use Himiko as well if you have her. Plenty of good options here. For 4 stars, don't forget, like if I didn't have Ruan Mei, you could also use Asta as well. She's going to give you a nice speed boost, which can be really helpful in getting you those extra turns. So use what you got. There's plenty of flexibility in Pure Fiction. You also don't need to go for the hard-hitting characters like Jingliu, for example. You don't need to use her here because she does so much damage that it's almost a waste. Well, it actually is a waste because, you know, the enemies you're fighting here are really weak. So keep that in mind when you're building a team around for Pure Fiction. That's why Herta ends up being fantastic for this mode, because even though her damage isn't the highest, it's good enough to clear waves of enemies consistently. Also, for my first half team, I'm just going to go ahead and swap to Libel, or Libel. I don't know how to say that word, I guess. Just for the extra wave clear for Sampo and Kafka. Alright, welcome to my gameplay portion of the Pure Fiction guide, where I'm just going to show you my thought process and strategies when tackling stage 4 of Pure Fiction. And we already kind of a little bit got started. We have a little bit of score thanks to the initial techniques that we used before entering the battle. And we applied that free dot damage, of course. So now we're using Tingyun's ult to give Sampo his ult, as well as a buff. And we're going to go ahead and use his ult into Kafka's ult, and this should be enough to clear that first wave of enemies. And we also get a little bit of extra damage thanks to those little explodey robots. Now, another enemy you might want to watch out for in this wave are these annoying stop and go signs, because they can apply a shield to themselves. So you might end up wasting a turn or two if they have their shield up. So we definitely want to focus them, get rid of them as soon as possible. And look just like that. Now we're on to the next wave. Wave 2 consists of a bunch of warp trotters. Make sure you do focus these because, you know, I'm sure you know by now, warp trotters can run away. And that's really not good for us. So want to make sure we focus them. Let's go ahead and give a buff to Kafka again. And go ahead and use Sampo's skill. Generate some skill points since we're running a bit low. Let's go ahead and use Kafka's ult. Nice damage there. Go ahead and focus the machine in the middle. Sampo got his ult, which is great. Dot damage is just carrying me right now, and it's fantastic. Let's go ahead and use Tingyun to break that toughness there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use Tingyun's ult on Sampo because Kafka's already really close to her ultimate anyways. Let's go ahead and just do that. We're gonna save Sampo's ult for the next wave. Just like that. We are on the last wave. This is where Yan Qing appears. As you can see, he doesn't have, like, he does have his swords, but you don't have to attack them like other boss fight versions. And we do have links with her ultimate here just in case someone gets frozen. Also, I should note this about bosses is that it might be your instinct or your habit and you feel like, oh, I should focus the boss. It's going to give a lot of score. But I'm going to implore you to do the opposite because you should focus on the ads instead to maximize your score for the half. Now I used Lynx's ult there because I saw that Tingyun got frozen, but she immediately got unfrozen. So let's go ahead and focus the weaker enemies like the fish and the soldier. Hopefully nobody else gets frozen. I'm really worried every time he attacks there. Okay, we seem to be okay. Nice. There we go. Oh, a little close there, Sampo. Alright, Sampo ultimate into Kafka ultimate. I should have done that a little bit faster, but that's okay. Ooh. Oh no. Things are going downhill. There we go. Funny enough, the best character to get frozen is Lynx because, well, you know, it's better than your DPS losing a turn of damage, so either way. Alright, we're gonna have to go ahead and emergency heal with Lynx. Also, don't worry about Sampo dying. This isn't Memory of Chaos, where, you know, you need everyone alive at the end. You can get away with a character dying. And it's actually fine that he died. Just trying to show you that you can make mistakes, characters can fall, and hey, you're still gonna do pretty well in the pure fiction. That's why I encourage a lot of new players out there, you know, or returning players, some veterans out there that might have been discouraged because of things like Memory of Chaos. Come try pure fiction. It's a lot easier, I promise you, than Memory of Chaos. Let's go ahead and use Kafka's skill here to try to finish off these soldier dudes. Looks like we're not gonna quite get it. Oh, just a little bit. Oh, Kafka was so close to getting her ultimate there, but we're really close to 30,000 points. That, to me, that's good enough. Alright, welcome to the second half of the Pure Fiction Guide. We are just gonna continue what we're doing. And just, you know, try to get that score up. And we're gonna go ahead and just break all of these weak shields first. Get the Ruan Mei ultimate buff going as well, just in time for Herta's turn. Go ahead and just focus the big guy, I guess. There we go. Use that Pella ult first. Apply the debuff and the dot damage. Herta can also follow up attack right after. Do her own ultimate. Also do another follow up. And that's an easy first wave. On to the second we go. Let's go ahead and focus on the Warp Trotter. And make sure that these things don't run away once again. Remember that the enemies here can do the Inspire move, which gives them basically a free turn, so you might want to be careful of that. If a Warp Trotter ends up running away because of it, just make sure you just do a restart. Remember, you can restart half of the run if things go south. So there, he inspired the enemies instead, which is fine. Go ahead and do that Herta skill into her ultimate. There we go. Very nice. And now we're on to the final enemy, which is Argenti and his totems. Just like last time, we kind of want to make sure we focus on the totems, since they are much weaker, and we get more points for doing so. Let's go ahead and do that skill. Oops, I did Herta's ult first before Pella's. That's a mistake on my end. That's okay. Pella's really low. Let's go ahead and heal her right after. Uh-oh. Another ultimate from Ruame. And the totems, I swear, they do more damage than, you know, what we're doing. So I don't mind focusing them instead of the boss himself. I'm gonna do just that. We apply some more buffs. Argenti getting that barrier is pretty annoying. Let's go ahead and just keep focusing more shields. Nice. Now my Herda got a buff. Use that Herda ultimate. Herda got a barrier. I'm gonna go ahead and heal just to keep everyone topped off. And we still have a full cycle, by the way, to try and get a few extra points here. There we go. Alright, last cycle. Let's get it. Alright, nice Pella ultimate. Hopefully we can get some big off of it. You just need 3k points before the cycle ends. That's all we need. Hopefully we can get there. Nice. 58. That's literally just 2 totems. If you get this close, we pretty much just got it right there, I think. Oh, wait. Oh. Almost. Just from that, we almost had it. Alright, let's go ahead and try to finish off. We basically need Pella to get hit just like a little bit more. Oh, never mind the wind shear. I forgot about it. There you go. We got it. Thank you, Herda. There we go. We just got the 60,000. So there you go. Anything else we get is just icing on the cake. I guess my final tip is don't give up until the actual run is over, because it did look kind of close, right? It looked like we might have had to reset for a second there, but all it took was just like one move from Pella, I think it was, and then Herda or something like that, and it just made this chain reaction of these totems just dying and damaging them, and it was just like 3,000 points, and then before we knew it, we were at 60k. So that's it for the Pure Fiction guide. Hopefully this is helpful to somebody out there. If you still have any more additional questions about the blessing or the buffs for the blessing, or maybe some team help, feel free to ask in the comments down below. I'll do my best to try to help you out. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and or subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.